Okay, today I'm just gonna do kind of the introductory how-to on axe throwing. Um, Basically, to start with, we'll cover the hatchets themselves, we'll cover the targets, and then basically then start with the basics of throwing and how to throw and what to look out for and things like that. So to start with, I've got some hatchets here. These are good starter hatchets. I do have quite a few different types. These ones here are store-bought, and super light. These ones here I got at Canadian Tire for super cheap. I think they were under $10 a hatchet. I've got a spectrum of other hatchets here. An S-wing, of course, that's not really a throwing hatchet. That's a carpenter's framing hatchet. I've got a splitting wedge, store-bought, and then a cheap throwing one here. You don't need to go fancy. I mean, this one here was actually quite expensive, and quite frankly, it wasn't as durable as some of the other ones. I had an earlier version of this where hit the handle and actually just snapped the handle. When you're throwing hatchets, if you hit another one, if you hit one with the other, they can go really bad. So I found it's probably best just to go as cheap as you can. These ones are small, they're easy to learn on. They've got a steel handle, steel underneath with a rubber handle. They have lasted very well. So for your dollars per hatchet or dollars per throw, these were a great start. So this is and they're also on the lighter side. They're small, they're easy to learn on. That's what we're going to start with. For the targets themselves, I just found a bunch of poplar logs here. I find this type of log the best, just because you're throwing into the end of the grain, which I find is so much easier, and you can always get good sticks. I do have another target that that I built with planks. And quite frankly, and this has got a bolt on it here, you can see, so you can drill a hole in the log and mount it. We've also, which is nice, but then you got to have this big drill every time. So this is nice for hanging up the round logs. This one, I find the planks you don't get as good of a stick. Nevertheless, I do have it, and on occasion I will put a log up here. I'm fortunate that I've got a tiered backyard, so I can just do it like this. I've also used ladders and had other ideas for supporting the logs. So we'll now just get started here with the throwing, the throwing part of it. So for the throwing part, starting with the throw, you just want to be consistent. You want to throw the same way every time, and you want to have kind of a loose grip on the handle. You don't want to over grip, and you don't want to grab the end, because this rotation will mess up the rotation of the axe. So it's easier to get consistency if you hold it the same way every time. So get a comfortable grip and hold it the same way every time. If you choke up on it, that also changes the rotation, and if you hold it near the end, that changes the rotation. That's more advanced. We're not going to cover that. For the start, you just want to hold it the same. So, put the bottom flush with your hand every time. And then basically, it's consistency is everything. And the reason for that is because I'll just show you that, the hatchet's gonna fly through the air. So the hatchet flies through the air, okay? And it does, in this case, we're gonna do one full rotation. And it's gonna stick into the log. And so what happens is once you get that rotation constant, and you got a good constant throw with the same grip, then all you need to do is adjust your distance from the target. So what happens is if you're too close, you're gonna hit, the axe is gonna hit here, the bottom first. You're gonna hit the handle first because it hasn't had time to fully rotate. And if you're too far back, it's gonna hit like this, or it's gonna hit upside down. So you adjust, once you've got the nice uniform throw every time and you're holding it the same way, if you're hitting here, if it looks like this when it hits, you're too far back. It's over rotating. If you're hitting the handle, it means you're too close. So that's a key element. So we're going to start, and then we're going to start with that. And then usually I put a mark in the dirt, or I put something down in the dirt so that I can judge where my front toe goes every time and get back to the same spot. And even 1 foot will make a difference as to getting a stick or not. So now we're gonna start for real here, and we'll see it live. So I'm gonna start here, and I'm just gonna put this down on the ground for a marker, so I know where my toe is. And I'm gonna exaggerate this. So I'm gonna go back too far on purpose, and we'll see what happens here. So there you go. In that case, it hit like this because I was too far back. Do that a few times. So I'm too far back. There you saw it hit the head. There you go, headshot. Same thing. So there you go. What we saw there was the head hitting like this, which tells you we're too far back. So now I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to get too close. So we'll see what happens when I'm too close, and what'll happen is we'll hit the handle like this or like this. There you go, handle hit. Okay, we'll do a couple of those in slow motion, but basically when I'm too close, you saw it hit like this. And now we'll try to get it into the right spot. I'll move backwards, and I'll move forwards until I get it right. So, again, you're going to hold the hatchets the same every time, and for the sake of it, I'm going to start with my foot here. I think this is still probably too close, but let's see. Okay, I want to go back, not quite enough rotation, so I'm going to go back another foot. There we go. Perfect throw. I've got it marked on the ground where my foot goes, and I got a nice, I got a nice stick here, and I could even probably go back a bit more, because it's level. If I go, a nice stick is just a bit of an angle like that. So let's try that again. Back, maybe 6 inches back. So that's 3 pretty good shots. It's nice to be on a bit of an angle if you've got a sharp edge here, so that you get more penetration. So a little bit of an angle is good. So I'm gonna show the close-up here. I'm gonna show a close-up, and I'm gonna play with the distance. So now, again, just to show you the point, I'm gonna go too close, then I'm gonna go too far, and then I'm gonna go back to that spot again. So all of those 3, you saw the first 2 clearly hit handle first. So now I'm going to go too far back, and we'll see it'll hit. So, saw it hitting like that, means I'm too far back. Now I'm going to go back to the right spot. So this one on the verge of being too close. I stepped back 6 inches. That was the difference. So that is basically introduction to hatchet throwing. Very quickly, in summary, don't get expensive gear. These were, I think, $6 or $7 or $8 at Canadian Tire. They work great, had them for years. Virtually indestructible other than the handles. You see I got some duct tape on here. This type of a log is the best target because it can be, at any angle. You're getting on the end of the grain. Hold the handle the same every time. As a quick check, just have the handle flush with your palm, nice loose grip. It really is all about the consistency of the throw. Once you get that rotation consistent, every time, same body position, same stance, then it's just about getting the distance right. If you're too close, it's going to hit the handle first. If you're too far back, you're going to hit the head. Just adjust until you get that nice perfect stick. Anyway, that's all for now. Have fun. This is my son and I have been doing this for almost 10 years, and it's a pile of fun. It's a cheap backyard thing. You can probably get into it for under 50 bucks if you want. Enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.